Hello everybody out there and welcome back to another Dark Avenger comic book review. Now guys, this episode is super late. So super late that don't be surprised if in another day or two you don't start seeing The World's Finest, which is basically the replacement for the indie books that we review digitally. Mail was really slow and I'm going to chalk it up right now to Thanksgiving. However, our books for this week were just shipped today, which is Thursday, which is a day later than normal, so hopefully we will get our books on time, or at least only a day late, which means we'll be able to do this review on time for next week. So huge apologies that this video is late, and the fact that it's so late, we're giving you guys more of a recap review instead of a review. We won't be doing so in-depthly. We won't be going so in-depth on the books. We did talk about a lot of books on Frontline Live, so if you'd like to see in-depth reviews, they're there. My videos, by the time this video is up, should be there. I did 3 books. I'll mention it as we go through them. In this review, the books were released on
November 25th, 2015, the last week of November. And
the border between indies and Big 2 has been broken because there are some physical indies in this review. I guess physical book-wise, it'll be for Dark Avenger, the Dark Avenger review regardless. So let me waste no more time because we got a nice amount of digital books before we get into this huge pile of physical books. So take it away, Mike.
All right, we'll start off with Dark Knight 3.
Issue number 1.
Issue number 1, sorry.
This was a really good book. I enjoyed it. The artwork by Andy Kubert's great. Frank Miller, Brian Azzarello are teaming to give us this third and final chapter. My recommendation, and I said this on my review on Comic Frontline, at least read Volume 1 so you understand the universe and what's going on, or you're going to be lost. Like, for example, Superman is in some type of frozen exile. He kind of froze himself in the Fortress of Solitude. Bruce is dead, yet Carrie Kelly's running around as the new Batman woman thing. Wonder Woman has Superman's kids. Now, I don't know if in Volume 2 they showed that. They might have, and I didn't see it. If anybody knows for sure, let me know in the comments below. But you got Wonder Woman with Clark's youngest son going around fighting still, as Wonder Woman always does. And then you got the older daughter who continually visits Superman in the Fortress of Solitude, trying to find a way to help her father and bring him out of exile. And then we get a little bit with Kandor, and that leads into the secondary story with the Atom, which was only a couple of pages. I believe the artwork was different. I'm not too sure. A little note. Next Wednesday, not this past Wednesday, the second week of December 9th, if you didn't get this book in the regular format or with any of the variants, if you're willing to spend, I believe, on Amazon, on Midtown, it was only $11 and change, very cheap. If you want to get the collector's hardcover editions, which basically takes the mini comic, makes it a full-size comic, and makes the book a hardcover book, you get all 8. The 8th one comes with a box. You can have a nice collection. If you're a huge Frank Miller fan, or if you're like me and you're like, this is the only collector's edition that they've done this to, it sounds interesting. It is a variant cover, but at the same time, it's a nice little collector's setup. So I'm interested in it. Just wanted to drop that down. I've wasted too much time on this, so let's continue forward. Great book, though. Definitely check it out if you have read any of the previous volumes.
Venom Space Knight, issue number 1.
I went into this not thinking I was going to like it. The last Flash Thompson Venom series didn't really do well. I mean, in the beginning it was okay, and then it just kind of fell down a slippery slope. The artwork in this book was the first thing you notice, and you love it because the artwork is so great. I enjoyed it. It was a nice read. I need to see a little bit more before I can make a definitive decision on this book, but it was enjoyable. I think this is the atmosphere that Flash Venom needs, and we already have Eddie Brock going on in Carnage, which I'm sure Mike will talk about when he gets into Carnage, but I think this book has promise. I'll put it that way.
The Mighty Thor, issue number 1.
Now, this came out last week, and it should have gone first. I don't know how it didn't come first, but I guess it was out of order for some reason. But anyway, we'll have to fix it, or you put it that way. But anyway, just really quick, I did finally read The Mighty Thor. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I will probably be sticking around with Mighty Thor digitally. I really did enjoy it. I didn't expect I was going to like it, and I really did. And that's really all I have to say, because issue 1's been out for a while now. I'm looking forward to issue number 2.
Like Father, Like Daughter, issue number 2.
Now, I'm not going into spoilers with this one at all because it's not out yet. Like Father, Like Daughter, issue 2 just got funded through Kickstarter, and Kat was awesome enough to send us an issue. First of all, issue number 1 was awesome. I did not have a chance to review issue 1. Definitely read issue 1, but issue 2 is coming out soon. And if you enjoyed issue number 1, or if you like a book about a daughter who's getting superpowers, but her father is gone, and now she wants nothing to do with her father or the powers or anything, and then, all right, I'm going to give you a little tidbit, and a little tiny tidbit. She looks for this nerdy guy that knows all about comic books and superheroes to try to help her find a way to get rid of her powers, because she wants nothing to do with them at all. She doesn't want anything to do with her father's lifestyle, nothing. And there's really funny dialogue back and forth with her and this guy, and I think her friend actually likes this guy also, just to throw that little spoiler out there. But it isn't really a spoiler. It wasn't definified. It's definite. But the father finds out that she might be developing powers. It was a really great issue. Artwork on certain pages was a little sketchy, but for the most part, story-wise, I really enjoyed it. And when it does come out in stores, I would definitely recommend giving it a look over, because I enjoyed reading it, as I enjoyed reading issue 1 as well.
Batman and Robin Eternal, issue number 8.
Oh, man. It just keeps getting better and better, man. Dick and Mother are face to face, literally, and she's like, do you know what Batman Bruce did? Do you want to know which Robin I made, or I helped him make? And I don't know if it's true or not. That's my first question. Is she telling Dick the truth, or is she just saying that? Let me fix the mic because I feel like it's not catching me right. Or is she just saying that to make Dick go with her? She's like, either come with me or leave to help your friends because they're in trouble, Cassandra and one of these days it's going to come to me like right away. Harper are in trouble. She said either leave and you'll never find me again, or come with me and I'll give you all the answers you want, or you could stay here, which doesn't help anybody or anything. So it's blatantly obvious Dick goes to help the girls. And Mother disappears. Now, where did Mother go? We don't know. And issue 10 is in 2 weeks, I believe. This is issue 8, right?
Yeah, issue 8.
So we're not even halfway through this series yet, and things are not slowing down whatsoever. You got Tim and Jason going off trying to find more out about the orphan, about Mother, about everything, and there's just so many questions. Like, what did Bruce do? Did Bruce do it to begin with? We don't even know if Bruce did it or not. That's the big question mark. Did Bruce Wayne, a.k.a. Batman, have a Robin made for him because he didn't think Dick could cut it? Which would be really messed up, because Dick was one of the stronger of the Robins in the New 52. Now, if you want to go into the pre-New New 52, I would say Dick and Tim kind of have an even ground, and Damian slowly working his way up. But this was a really great issue, great action, and something happens with Cassandra in this issue, and hopefully they'll be able to get her back by next issue.
Robin, Son of Batman, issue number 6.
Now, this series, we finish out the redemption story arc, which I'm glad. You've got Talia trying to get Damian to kind of forgive her. She has the marble of her memory, why she did what she did to Robin, and how she lost her love for him and for Batman. She claims she never wants it back, gives it to Damian, says, consider this a way of, maybe helping to rebuild our relationship. And Damian really doesn't want anything to do with Talia, but he kind of does, but doesn't give her a second chance. He thinks his R stands for ruin, when nobody's Maya actually tells him, no, I think it stands for retribution, which I forgive you. So nobody forgives him, and she decides not to follow in her father's footsteps. However, she's going away now, and Robin is moving into the Robin Wars. Now, we don't know. I'm skeptical about the Robin Wars. After Robin Wars, I will see what the next story arc is for Robin, Son of Batman, and if it's interesting enough, I will be coming back. If not, then probably Robin Wars is where myself and Robin, Son of Batman, will be parting ways. By that point in time, though, no, it's only 1 month long, so it won't be where Bruce comes back just yet. I really want to wait and see what's going to happen with Batman with issue 50. And really, I think that's going to be what decides a lot of books, are the issue 50s, because that's going to really redirect all the books into their new directions, and the supporting books into different directions. So we'll see.
Grayson, issue number 14.
I never really liked the character Maxie, who's in this issue. Dick kind of tricks her into getting information. Tiger starts to not trust Dick. They get into a fight, and then Dick kind of comes out and says, "Okay, listen." And there's a whole lot of other things going on in the background about an agent who was part of Spiral and went in or was part of a different organization. And Dick's trying to take him out, but Dick also wants to take out Spiral, Helena, and everybody. And the issue kind of ends off with him telling Tiger, "I need your help to end it all. We have to take down Spiral. We have to take down Helena. We have to take them all down." I'm hoping that this does happen, and either Grayson will end and we'll go into a new volume where it'll be Nightwing again, or something with Dick kind of more as a Nightwing-esque book. It felt like Nightwing when they did that one issue where he was in Gotham. It feels, Dick feels like Dick in Batman and Robin Eternal. Here, I feel like they need to deal with the Spiral issue, get rid of Spiral, and then Dick can really be free again to be Dick.
All new Archie, issue number 4.
We get to find out the lipstick incident. And man, I was completely off. I thought it was going to be lipstick on his shirt or something, and Betty thinks he's cheating on her, and they break up that way. It turns out that Betty gets all girlied up, and Archie and her made the promise that they would never change, never, no matter what. And of course, in keeping that promise, he kind of took it a little too literal, and Betty kind of got a little upset when she tried to be something, she is a girl, and she tries to be more girl than tomboy on this one date, and Archie kind of can't deal with it right, and that's kind of what leads to the breakup. And now, in the present day, Betty and, Jughead are trying to find a way to keep Veronica and Archie from getting together. Awesome book. I love the book. The artwork, Fiona Staples not on the book anymore, so it's going to take some time to get used to this new artist. Yes.
Okay. Guardians of the Galaxy, issue number 2.
I enjoyed this book. This was a really great issue. We get a background on Hela. Again, there's a little funny plug by Rocket Raccoon to the Guardians of the Galaxy, or the Guardians of Nowhere miniseries, which was during Secret Wars, which is funny. He's like, "I had a dream, and you were there, and she was there, and Chameleon Girl was there, and so was this girl." So it's kind of like a little funny reference to Secret Wars, which I thought all of the Marvel heroes remembered. I guess certain heroes do and certain heroes don't. I don't even know. Maybe they know what happened, but they don't know what happened. Whatever. The whole beginning of the issue is about her background and why she's attacking Peter, and that she's one of the last of the Kree, which we all know that's not true. There's more Kree out there somewhere. But she wants revenge, so she is going to destroy Spartax and then Earth, both planets that are Peter considers home. And she traps him in this space capsule and says he's going to watch as she does it. And none of the Guardians are able to. They put her down. There was a really great team with Ben Grimm, but unfortunately she gets back up again and takes everybody else down.
Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, issue number 1.
I was not going to read this book. I had no interest in this book. I was going to let Michael read it, and Mike didn't have time to read it, so I read it. And Jay actually recommended it. He thought it was a really, really, really good book. And damn it, Jay, you were right. It was a really interesting read. We get introduced to this girl who her peers call Moon Girl. She is a super intelligent. She is very, very smart. And she wants to go to a gifted and talented school because she feels like she's not learning anything in the school she's in now. And the girls and boys make fun of her because she's too smart and she doesn't know how to joke. She doesn't have friends, nothing. We get a little back in the days with the monkeys and Devil Dinosaur. And it has something to do with the Moonstone, I believe, or the Moonstar, whatever that machine or alien technology is. And the ape person that's protecting it dies, and he tells Devil Dinosaur, protect the next moon child. And it turns out to be this girl, and somehow Devil Dinosaur makes it into the present and takes her. Because he starts to attack all the students, and she kind of stands up to the dinosaur, which as a little girl, I don't understand how that happens. But she does, and the dinosaur kind of takes her and walks away. So she's like, I should keep my mouth shut. But you can see that they're going to form a bond. She's going to be Devil Dinosaur's best friend. I agree with Jay. I definitely see her becoming the 2016 Miss Marvel, but not Miss Marvel. I think Moon Girl is the next new superheroine without having superpowers, though, to come into the picture. And I like that. I like this character. And I'm really glad I stuck around for the first issue.
Alright, my book, last digital book.
His only book.
Well, I got physical ones.
I
don't
know.
worry. Hail Hydra issue number 4. I believe this was the last issue. Oh, okay, it is the last issue. Yeah, because I do remember.
Still more. There are still more. There's still Ultimate End. You can come sit if it's your last book. There was Ultimate. I figure I'll bullshit while you sit down. There's Ultimate End. There are so many other books that are still coming, and you're cut off. So let's fix that a little bit.
Oh, no.
A little bit.
Oh.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah.
There's so many other books coming still.
Well, with the delays of Secret Wars, we won't get into that.
That's crazy. Yeah. Oh, don't worry. In 2 weeks, 2 episodes from now, we'll be doing Secret Wars 8. Now we just have to wait till January for 9.
I just don't understand. But anyway, let's talk about Hail Hydra issue 4. So in Hail Hydra issue number 4, we have Iron's character who are going after the I forgot what they were called. The one with the Venom in it and
Hydra.
Well, Hydra's team of some type. There were just so many names. But anyway, what was in this story that was actually interesting was that there's these like little bubbles that are handed out, but they're bubbles of memories of basically when the sister was attacked by an ion who went in the bubble. It was, back in the days when after the whole argument that Ion had with his father and the father about what he wanted to do in life and everything. Things looked a little bit strangely for him, and then he noticed that things weren't right. Like, this isn't really the father I once knew, and then it was just like a whole big not confused, like, there was a whole thing that he knew what was wrong, and he saved his sister from the bubble and everything. And it's like a huge fight that breaks out and everything. The artwork was great, by the way. And we find out something about Ellie's character that is pretty interesting that I would definitely read the book to see about that. But all in all, I thought the whole series was okay. Up to you guys want to get trade paperback, but
Secret Wars kind of killed itself.
Yeah, Secret Wars is just we won't even talk about that until whenever you said it's coming out. And that's all for the digitals. Now let's get into the physicals.
All right, I'm doing some indies first. We got Spawn 258. Very little to no dialogue. Why, you might ask? Because Spawn is in hell now, and he has a message. And they say that on this page right here. Spawn shows up, and he has a message that even Satan himself shuddered upon hearing. The rest of the book, there is no dialogue. It is all action. Everything. Every page. Up until the very last page where there's nobody left except one survivor in hell.
This must have been like a less than 5-minute read.
It was so gorgeous. It took more than 5 minutes to enjoy the artwork by Eric Larson, by the way, does the artwork in this book.
Yeah, it is very nice.
Eric Larson, okay? I know some people like, some people hate. I was okay with it. I don't like the teeth, though. I really wish that they would put Spawn back to having just that flat mask. The teeth make me think of Venom. And yes, I know Todd McFarlane did Venom. I know it. And Todd McFarlane's actually coloring these books again. And inking. That's great. The thing is, though, or was it just coloring? I want to make sure. I don't want to lie to you guys now. Spawn. Todd McFarlane's back to inking and the inking the interior. Okay, not coloring. He's inking. I'd rather have Spawn without the mouth. It reminds me too much of Venom, and Spawn is not Venom. Never was, never will be. He's his own entity, and he's really interesting. Even with the little green eyes, it's not Venom. He had green eyes, right?
Yeah.
That's what separated. I'm saying that's what separated him from Venom. I feel like Marvel copied Spawn when they redid Venom's costume and they gave him the eyes.
Oh yeah, that's true.
What they need to do is get rid of the mouth for Spawn, but that's just a nitpick. But what he tells Satan is, I'm here. This was an awesome issue, worth your read, and yes, it is still only $2.99. Just a note. Well, we're going to go down there anyway, so.
Oh, well, there you go.
Chew 52, we go back to Agent Cho. There, the Pope ends up banning the eating of chicken. He is against it, and he says anybody who eats chicken is going to hell, and it's horrible. So Cho is kind of put on the case. There is a prologue with Oh, I forgot his name. There's a yeah, basically Chicken is Doomed. There was a prologue with, oh God, what's his name? Savoy. I won't spoil that, but there's a reason to, his Chicken is Doomed. There's a reason behind it. So Cho is put on the case to find out what's going on with the Pope for real. And he goes to find an agent that went missing years ago. They find him. It turns out Savoy's already there. We get a lot of recaps, really funny recaps with every time Cho is someplace, Savoy is not far behind. So Savoy basically wants to work with Cho to figure out what's going on and basically to save the world. And let's just say Cho figures out what's going on because he kind of takes a bite out of the guy that might have a clue of what's going on. And something is coming. What? We don't know, but I like the next cover. It looks really interesting. And the his wife is actually chewing on some more of that alien food and getting more and more of that story down, which apparently has some type of clue on how this whole thing is going to end, which I'm interested in hearing. All right, I believe this is the last Image book, correct? Correct.
Yeah.
Saga is officially back, issue 31, and Hazel is now in school. And we don't know anything about the parents. Mom and Dad are missing, as they say. So Fiona and oh God, why did his name leave me? Wow.
Well, let's look in the book.
No, his name isn't in the book because he's not in it.
Oh.
Marco are not in this book. However, we find out, and this is a spoiler again. Don't, if you didn't read this issue yet, don't listen any further because I will mention certain things. We find out that the grandmother survived. I thought the grandmother would surely be killed. And they're in this, they almost got taken in and arrested and turned into prisoners, but thanks to the horror that is connected to Hazel, she kind of tricks the people away, and now they're on a colony, and the grandmother is alive still, which I find that she's obviously, it's years later, and it looks like prison life almost. She's got all the tattoos on her body now, and Hazel's grown up a bit, and she feels alone, and she doesn't know where her parents are, and the teacher in the room gives her a book that her mother had for her when she was a baby. And she's like, if you ever need somebody to talk to, you can talk to me. And she sees this transvestite in the woman's shower. And she feels like, oh, if that person is a mix, maybe it's okay for me. And she feels like she can come to... And the teacher said, you could tell me anything. So she feels comfortable enough to tell the teacher and show her that she's basically a mix between two races. And the teacher kind of faints. To be continued. So I don't know if Marco... I believe Marco's going to be back in the next issue. Strictly because, and I don't think it's Fiona. I'm thinking Fiona Staples. I meant Helena. I think it's Helena, and I don't remember his wife's name. Anyway, I believe they'll be back in the next issue due to the cover, but we'll wait and see. But I hope so, because it'd be great to see those guys. And it's only been a couple of years, so I don't believe they should age the characters, because it's only been literally like 3 or 4 years. So a character can't age so much in 3 or 4 years. The worst that could happen is Marco has a beard and the wife has longer hair or maybe buzzed cut. You know what I mean? They're not going to age like old. This would definitely have been my book of the week on Frontline Live if these books came on time, but it's my book of the week here. And that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue 52. The story continues. Splinter, the traitor from the last issue, attacks the Foot Clan with the Street Phantoms. And they're taking care of... you got Leo and Aliplex who are training the rookies in the beginning of the issue. And then they get attacked. There's a moment where Splinter also confronts Kitsune about what's going to go on in the future with her and her siblings. And that's when the Street Phantoms attack, and the traitor tries to take out Splinter. They can't hit them because they're intangible, but then Leo and Aliplex kind of come up with a plan to make a disadvantage into an advantage. They one-up the Street Phantoms. They run away, except the traitor gets left behind. And after only two boxes of word bubbles, she's convinced that maybe Splinter's right. All this could have been avoided if she just would have talked to Splinter. And it was very weirdly easy to convince this girl. She apologizes, he demotes her, and says you have to earn your way back to where you were. And then we get a little bit with Mikey, and spoiler here, he ends up joining, or at least chilling with Old Hob and his mutanimals. Lots going on. There is a scene with Casey, which plays heavily off of the ramifications of what happened in Casey and April's miniseries. So if you didn't read that, yeah, this time around, that miniseries really plays a heavy role in one of the characters, and that's Casey Jones, where he's making sure the bad guys don't get the jump on him, so he's getting the jump on the bad guys. But unfortunately, that's taking him away from his girlfriend, April, and that's really just keeping him out on the streets, working the streets. Now we're going to get into the big two. And this, normally, on the Frontline review, worst pick went to Superman. After reading this book, Justice League of America issue 5 is my worst pick, and you won't believe why. I'm going to let Mike tell you. Open the book up and tell me what's in the book. This was a book that was so out in left field. When I read it, I'm like, okay, maybe it's the first couple of pages, because, it's a JLA, and it's only, in the past. Okay. About John Jones being part of the JLA, and now we go to present day. Okay. Keep going. Now, you remember the Justice League was fighting Rao in the last issue.
Yeah, Rao.
And it's an issue behind, by the way, I believe. Oh. Keep going. Do you see the JLA yet?
I don't see it.
I keep going. Yeah, there's a reason for this. I know I'm taking up your guys' time, but I want Mike to see this because Mike reads Martian Manhunter. Keep going. One more page. What does that say on the bottom?
Discover the truth about John Mars and Martian Man.
This entire book
was
basically
just about Martian Manhunter.
This was a glorified Martian Manhunter annual.
That's so ridiculous. And why is it a Justice League of America title if there's no Justice League of America?
Right. So they interrupted a story on one of the biggest cliffhangers. Well,
that's going to continue
moderately
Martian Manhunter.
Biggest cliffhanger.
That is so stupid.
They didn't continue the story. Instead, they chose to do a Martian Manhunter one-shot in the middle of a story, mind you. Instead of... It was... Now, from what Jay says, I don't read Martian Manhunter. You do.
I do, yeah.
I don't read Martian Manhunter. So when I saw Martian Manhunter after the first couple of pages, I literally skimmed the rest of the book and found out...
It looked familiar a little bit from what I've been
And I found out it's just basically a story for Martian Manhunter and a promo for Martian Manhunter.
Can you explain why it was just focused on him?
They want to promote Martian Manhunter.
Because nobody's buying the book?
This should not have been in this issue. This would have been a perfect segue from first story arc to second, but not something that interrupts a major story arc that's going on. I consider the first story arc of any comic book major because that's what's going to make people want to buy or continue to buy or not continue to buy your book. This interruption with issue 5, which is late, I believe, I might be wrong, but this issue 5, which doesn't continue the story from issue 4, has nothing to do with issue 4, and have nothing to do with Justice League of America, just John Jones' connection in the first page. Ridiculous. This issue interrupts a story, and anyway, I got a few emails. One person, my good friend Larry, wrote me and said, could you explain issue 5 of Justice League of America? And I didn't know because I didn't read it yet. I read it, and now I understand what he means. This is not JLA. If you didn't get issue 5, if by some act of God you're late, don't get issue 5 unless you're reading Martian Manhunter. It has nothing to do with what's going on in Justice League of America right now. And if I knew that, I would not have picked up issue 5, even though I really like the Looney Tunes variant. This was a waste of $3.99 for anybody who doesn't read or care about Martian Manhunter, because it's not for you then, this book, and it's not the continuation of the story. And I'm done with my rant now, and I'm going to continue on, but that was wrong. Now, my second worst book of the week goes to Superman 46.
Uh-oh.
The artwork, however, by I believe his first name's Howard. I want to make sure, because if I'm wrong, I want to be right. I don't want to be wrong. Artwork by Howard Porter. I was right, Howard Porter. The artwork is really good. A lot better than John Romita Jr., who apparently is still, for some weird reason, doing the covers, which scares me because that means that at some point, maybe, he's going to be coming back to the book. Here's an example of some really nice artwork without showing Fight Club. This was Superman Fight Club. He is in this Fight Club. Jimmy gets shot at the end of the issue. We all know Jimmy's not going to die, because if he was, they would have made huge news pieces about this before it happened. He's going to be fine by the next issue. And at the end, guess what? Hoarder Root shows up again.
Oh.
So, I am so not liking Superman, and this is so un-Superman. Having him walk out with a championship belt, to make money so he can eat tacos from the last issue.
Well,
yeah.
First was drinking, now it's this. What are they doing?
I think DC Comics has no clue what they want to do with Superman, so they took away his powers for a time to give him a story arc. But man, oh man, I hope that by issue 50, which is only 4 short months away, they fix this problem, which they probably will, because if they're bringing Bruce Wayne back by issue 50, they're going to probably fix Superman by issue 50 as well. And I don't know, but man, if not for JLA, Superman 46 would have been my worst pick, and not because of the artwork, because the story makes absolutely no sense. But I will say this. Howard Porter's artwork is awesome. I would love to see Howard Porter in another Superman book that I'm enjoying a little bit more. There is another Superman book, which I believe is not this one, but it's coming up. I would love to see and actually, if Howard Porter sticks around after this whole horrible I don't have my superpower story arc, I believe I'll enjoy his artwork a lot more because it'll be a story I want to read. So I will say that. And again, if you're a fan of John Romita Jr., that's your prerogative. Me personally, I do not like seeing his artwork in Superman.
All New, All Different, Silk issue number 1 I want to do first. And it would have been almost at my least favorite for the Frontline month. Almost. And I'm going to tell you why. First of all, I did like the artwork in the story because it was just like before, with...
it's a continuation, so not really Cindy All New, All Different again.
Going with her continuation about the footage of going after the goblins and everything, right? So, and they also like... past and stuff like that. Well, first of all, here's some artwork, by the way. And the thing that I was really turned off on is just like there's this thing that belonged to S.H.I.E.L.D., like a briefcase, and Mockingbird comes in and tries to take it, and then she's like saying, where is it now? I'm a bad guy now. I mean, really, why are they making Silk a villain in this book? And the worst part is she works for Black Cat. Gee, weren't they fighting before this whole thing happened?
Well, they reconciled.
Yeah, now they're what? How the whole thing happens of this and that, and then J. Jonah Jameson gets a little upset because of the footage that she didn't get about this whole Mockingbird incident happening, and then she was just saying that like what she's doing and everything, and then she tries to make up to what she did to Mockingbird a little bit, but and then she's like saying basically you can't trust Black Cat, and there's this whole serum about the Goblin King, which is going to Return of the Goblin King Part 1 to be continued.
That leaves me a little worried.
I don't know why they're making her a villain, but if anyone in the comments below could say if you like this or not, I want to hear and know, because I don't like that they're making Silk not in a hero book that she was before. You don't do that. I just don't understand that. That's another thing I don't understand of that book.
Sinestro 17. This is the first Sinestro book I did not enjoy, and that was due to a large fact that every other page is a different artist. Let's see, how many artists actually were in this book?
You mean it was more than one?
Let's see. Pencils by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 different artists were on this book. So every couple of pages was a new artist. And Wonder Woman shows up in this issue. You got Sinestro and Black Adam fighting the one of the Guardians, which is the Pale Bishop. And Sinestro gives Black Adam a Sinestro Core ring to kind of break the influence of the Pale Bishop. They chase after her. Wonder Woman thinks that Sinestro is attacking Earth. Sinestro tries to convince her that he's there to protect them from the Pale Bishop. He's like, will you help us? She's like, no, I don't have to help you find them because I think they found you. To be continued. That's legitimately a outline of what happened in this book. Saranic is still trying to heal the ones, the Sinestro Corps members that were attacked by the Pale Bishops and kind of rendered emotionless or colorless. And they started to activate when the Pale Bishop got freed.
Carnage issue number 2. And I really enjoyed this issue as well as I did with issue number 1. And in this issue, it's the soldiers who are going down under where Cleus Cassidy fell after the whole Sonic cannon happened. And the symbiote always finds the person that... that controls him and owns him and all that stuff. So we get a little bit of a backstory about how this whole underground thing happened. The Colonel Jameson, just seeing how weird things happen, I just didn't hope he didn't get injected or gotten any symbiotes, because there might have been bits and pieces everywhere. And everyone's going with the Eddie Brock going Toxin, only if Carnage happens, and it's going to happen in the next issue or two, give or take. I'm predicting that. Carnage finds them, along with Colonel Jameson that's there. And the thing that I am saying about Colonel Jameson, and this is a spoiler, but it's late, so you probably
really
know
late.
already. He turns into Man-Wolf. Now, I hope in the next issue that it doesn't go down the road, because I want to see Toxin, number one, because they're teasing it off that it's going to happen. And I just hope that, maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way. Maybe Man-Wolf might be a good character, because we'll find out in the next issue what this character is. So I'm not giving it low hopes. I'm giving it high hopes, because I've been enjoying Carnage. And I'm just going to see. That last page just worried me, but maybe the next issue might change that.
What makes me laugh is on this cover, Superman has his old costume, Wonder Woman has her new 52 costume. Superman, Wonder Woman 3. I almost said 26 because we're in the 46s. So Superman and Wonder Woman break Parasite out because they need his help. Parasite.
The one that absorbs
They work
everything?
with Parasite basically to find out where all of Superman's powers or where all this energy is going towards. And Parasite is being used as kind of like a bloodhound. They chase after him. Vindel Savage's son, I forget his name.
I don't know his name. I didn't even know he had a son until just now. And really, I don't know a lot about these new 52 characters and what's going on anymore.
I don't know, but anyway. Here, Angelo. Angelo was working with the president. He got fired because he had Parasite attack Superman. Vindel Savage warns him that patience is the most important thing. You don't go too far. Don't push too far. And if you screw around too much, I don't want to have to be the one to have to discipline you. And he's like, that's why, Father, at some point, I'm probably going to have to kill you. Or I am going to kill you to move beyond you. Superman, Wonder Woman, and Parasite show up.
Ooh.
The classic fight breaks out. Angelo makes a couple of announcements here, there, and everywhere. Something bad happens to Wonder Woman, to be continued. Straightforward issue. I like the artwork. I don't like the personality still. At this point, everything Superman lately is just... Lois definitely goes to Batman, Superman right now, because I don't know where they're going with that book. Superman follows that. Action Comics isn't far behind, and now Superman, Wonder Woman, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with Superman. I truly believe DC has no clue what to do with Superman, and that's why nobody's talking about Superman anymore. Obviously, we're talking about Batman v Superman, the movie, but we're not talking about any Superman comics, which is not good because you want people to read his comics and you want him to be at full power, and this is not the Superman. Go ahead.
Alright, Darth Vader issue number 13. This is Vader Down part 2 of 6.
How is that going, by the way?
Actually, this one's going pretty good. It leaves off really where it left off in the last issue, where it was Darth Vader against the soldiers that were going after him. And I gotta admit, though, the whole action in this book and the artwork was outstanding. It was really amazing. I know it's wrong, but I'm just saying I enjoyed, because it's Darth Vader. That's that. Then we get a little bit of Princess Leia getting worried about what happened with Luke, and Han Solo's like saying, aren't you forgetting that, that he always gets in the habit of getting himself killed for you and all that stuff. And I don't know, Han was acting a little bit too harsh, I think a little bit. But he did say that he wants to have friends to save. Meanwhile, we have BD with, I forgot. It's the opposite of C-3PO, who has an idea about how to get to Luke Skywalker, or in a trap of some type. They find Darth Vader, and he takes out the one of the wings, and we see Luke that sees C-3PO and R2-D2 saying there's something up, and meanwhile we see that he gets electrocuted by the opposite of C-3PO, and now he's just saying now he's going to die for it. and that's going to be continued of Vader Down Part 3 in Star Wars issue number 13. Which, I don't know if you're going to be reading it or if I'm...
No, you're going to be continuing Darth Vader.
Oh, okay, because I didn't know if you were going to...
Well, you've been reading Darth Vader, so Vader Down is your event, man.
Alright, so basically I'll be looking into the next Vader Down. But it's really good. I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen with Luke now, and yeah, just the whole thing. Amazing.
Wonder Woman 46. Goddess of War versus Goddess of Peace. This was awesome. Zeke shows up. Zeke ends up, spoiler here, saving Donna, which I thought was really great. You see that the Goddess of Peace kind of has lost it for a little bit, but towards the end of the issue they fix, she kind of, let me put it that way. And she kind of gets knocked off her high horse, so to speak, and, like I said, Zeke heals Donna. The fight between Wonder Woman and the Goddess of Peace kind of ends peacefully, ironically, and it turns out two of her brothers, Apollo and I forget who the other one was, show back up, and things kind of end really nicely. It was a nice end to the story arc. However, the person that was working with the Goddess of Peace, she warned him, if you fail me, it's death, and, well, that was the deal, and that was the end. And Donna Troy now is in debt. She said, I was given life, to live a life, and now I'm going to live it to the best of my abilities. I thought this was a really great issue. Again, this was one of the first books I read digitally, waiting for the physical copy, so that's why I'm kind of a little vague on what went on in this book, but I enjoyed Wonder Woman. I think this was the end of this story arc. Next story arc starts with Cheetah. I'm really excited and can't wait to see where this story goes.
He-Man the Attorney War, issue number 12. And this book has lots of stuff, and I think you're going to like this issue, actually.
Well, I heard you're talking about it already.
I know, but I'm just saying, I'm sure that everyone else will be liking this issue. So, after they talk about, Skeletor with his whole new weapon thing that he's doing with Dark Hordex Blood and all that stuff, we have Prince Adam, who faces against Lord Hiss. And basically, they were being the memories that he cherishes, and with amazing artwork, he gets back to being He-Man. Now,
because Prince Adam is He-Man, technically.
He is He-Man, and I'm going to tell you, it doesn't just say he's going to be He-Man. They do tell you why. And Teela, the sorceress, I actually remember because in Comic Frontline I said it wrong. The sorceress actually shows him key moments of why he was worthy to be He-Man. But now there's a, this shard that he has. I'm trying to remember a keystone. And basically, it will protect his memories, but it cannot fall. So during his fight against Lord Hiss, the keystone does fall, and then it goes into white to be continued.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what I'm saying. I don't know what's going to happen next, but every time I see He-Man the Attorney War, I always say there's going to be something that's going to happen. But He-Man is back in this issue, guys, so definitely something to look at, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen after that.
All new Wolverine issue number 2. I really love this issue. X-23 gets brought in by Alchemax. I love how Alchemax is involving themselves in a lot of different story arcs right now. And apparently Alchemax got some of X-23's DNA, and they basically tried to clone the clone. Which you don't do, because if you try to clone a clone, obviously you're not going to get the same result. All of X-23's clones have no ability to heal and have no claws. So they're basically her human form, and they've taken away all their emotions, and they're basically killing machines or fighting machines. They broke free from Alchemax, set a facility on fire, and everybody died. So now they want X-23 to bring the girls back. So she agrees to find them, and she walks out, actually. The head, Clooney, I believe his name is his name Clooney? Mooney. Captain Mooney sends some people to follow X-23. She scares them off. There's a small scene with Angel, literally only about 2 pages. Then it turns out one of the X-23 clones goes to X-23. It turns out one of the clones sent her a letter letting her know where they were going to attack, because she doesn't want to kill. She doesn't want to hurt people. She just wants to be left alone. And she wants to be safe. And she doesn't want to see her sisters get killed either. And she goes to X-23 looking for help. X-23 kind of doesn't offer the help she wants. She runs away. However, X-23 follows her. X-23 was followed by Captain Mooney. And, well, yeah, you guessed the rest. Big throwdown, knockdown, blowout. And let's just say by next issue's beginning, well, I believe it's on the cover. I want to make sure. No, it's not on the cover. But X-23 versus blank is happening in issue 3. And I'm looking forward to seeing that because blank might have hurt one of the 3 clones.
Alright, now, knowing that Ghostbusters is still my book of the week, this falls second place of that. Exo Manowar, issue number 42 from Valiant. In the third part, I believe, to Exodus. Let me make sure I'm right. I'm sorry, part 4. I am so sorry.
I thought it was part 3 myself.
Alright, well, anyway, I thought it was. But anyway, it's where the whole Vine versus, Exo's group happens, and he's just saying, he gets confused because he doesn't know what side to be on. The side that he works with or the Vine that have no home and they came here for this home. And he's in this huge turmoil of what side he's going to choose. So he actually goes to the other world to talk to Priest after he gets knocked out and everything. And Priest, I like what he says here. Do what you know to be right. Our peoples will follow. Right there, that woke him up, and Arak knew what he had to do, and he's just saying, I do what I must, and he's like saying, I am human, I represent the Vine, but you can decide. The next who fires, I will fight for the other. And everybody just halted right there. Get a little bit about Commander Thrill, which the issue 0 one-shot is coming out this week.
Yeah, this week. It came out yesterday.
You're right, so I'm going to be looking into that and doing a double review.
Yeah, that's all.
I'm sorry, yeah. And then after that... to
be continued.
It's just to be continued in the next... we get a spoiler here that there's an old enemy that I thought was dead that he must find Thrill, and he's going to ask for help, which is Ninjak. Ninjak's actually going to help, and that's
why we're getting the Commander Thrill one-shot.
Right, and then we get a little preview of Dr. Mirage Second Lives, issue number 1, and I like the previews that they give of the book, but this falls second place as Book of the Week, and it gets a 5 out of 5 for that.
And my Book of the Week from the Big 2 goes to Superman, Lois, and Clark, issue number 2. We open up with another, small flashback to Clark. His beard is starting to grow. Lois is, making ground. She's, they're getting used to their new home. And Clark is still working in secret because the heroes haven't come out. They had come out, but it was all brand new to the world. So he worked in secret. I love the artwork in this book, and I love the way it's written. But now that he's taking all of these supervillains' equipment, he starts to hide them all out in his barn. I believe the barn is going to become like his Fortress of Solitude, or became his Fortress of Solitude. But then we go back to the present where the ship that Hank Henshaw, the Excalibur, landed. However, there were images of somebody helping the ship maybe land on Earth, and this agent starting to question things. We go back to the town where... John got in trouble at class because he was watching the news. So Lois shows up. He kind of gets reprimanded. On their way home, they get chased down by some inner gang members who want to basically silence Lois before her book comes out. We get a little hint that John might be developing some powers. I like that moment where Lois is like, John, are you okay? And the guy's knocked out, and she's like, but how did you... And that's when her and John kind of run away, and she calls Clark and says it's Omega. What was it? Protocol Omega, which basically means we need your help, Clark. He shows up, knocks everybody out, steals all the information so nobody will know that they were there. They go home, and it kind of... I think John also has super hearing because they're talking in the barn, and John is just sitting there by the window looking at them, and I think he could hear everything that's going on. But it ends with Hank Henshaw, his body's missing. Where is it? It's in some type of facility, and I'm wondering if it's the Fortress of Solitude, if there is one, in the barn, and then it ends light years away in space. Something about a, what stone? A Oblivion stone, which apparently is in the system, the solar system Sol, which is basically our solar system, and I have a feeling this is going to involve our Superman. My wonder is if this Superman will ever go public. That would be very interesting if they did do that. I don't think they'll do that, but it would still be very interesting to see if they did go that route.
It would be.
I'm interested. I'm loving this story. At least, it's nice to see some connection to my old universe and the new DC universe, even though it's not the same. At least the personality, Lois and Clark are still together. I really do believe this is basically DC's way of saying, okay, we know you want Lois and Clark together. Well, here you go. They're married. They're fine. They have a kid even. But, now, in Our Superman's with Wonder Woman, and he lost his powers. And they actually... And Clark actually brings it up in here how this Superman was outed, and he and Lois were thinking about going, or Lois was mentioning it. I don't know, one of them was talking about it and how they were thinking about bugging out and going somewhere else again. And they decided to just bunker down and stay where they were and, come what may. And I like how this book talks about the Superman in the new DCU, but very, very slightly. They just make mention of what happened with him, like the identity being, outed, and that was it. So I really like Lois and Clark. If you want some old-fashioned Superman, there's your book right there. And with that, that's it for this review, which basically turned out to be a review. We tried to recap the books as much as we could, but there were a lot of books anyway. I do say so myself. There was a lot of books. Yep. So thank you guys so much for sticking with us during this Dark Avenger comic review. Hopefully the next one will be on time. Links in the description below connect to a whole bunch of really awesome sites like Comic Frontline. More stuff right here from Dark Avenger C86. Frontline Gaming Zone, Zone 4, Last Ember Press. Check those out whenever you guys have the free time. Let me know in the comments below. Even though these books are super late, what books did you enjoy most? Agree or disagree with anything we have to say about any of these books? Your comments are always welcome. And until next time, everybody, hopefully we'll see you guys really soon. The whole video hopefully will be only a day late at most. There might be a live show tonight because I'm sure this will be going up Friday morning. So there might be a Dark Avenger live show, might not. I don't know. It really all depends because we are in the holiday months now, so it all depends on holiday stuff. But till then, guys, take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and I will see you guys really soon in the next video.
Later, everybody.